So after months of using the Samsung Galaxy S24 FE, testing every feature and pushing it to its limits, here's what nobody tells you about this phone after all the hype has died down. Is it actually worth your money over the A series or even the Galaxy S25 series? Let's get brutally honest. If you don't care about all of those things though, or you are on a budget, I would say the A56 is close, though you will be losing some of that premium build quality. This definitely feels a whole lot heavier and more premium. And if you're new here, hi, I'm Captain Awesome. This is Geekception. I do not do spec sheet reviews here on Geekception, but instead I do real world, long-term, long-form reviews. And if you enjoyed that, consider subscribing. Let's get into it. Now, moving on to my favorite section here, which is the camera section. And I would have to tell you that the camera here on the Galaxy S24 FE has been the most surprising part of this phone. Now, this is not because it is actually good on paper. In fact, on paper, it doesn't look great. But when it comes to just the photos that come out of this phone, it has been consistently good for me. And compared to the Galaxy A series, which I have the A55 and A56 here, the 3x telephoto, which is optical on the S24 FE here, is actually really fantastic, and I enjoyed using it so much. And I'll tell you, I have made so many videos about the Galaxy S24 FE. In fact, especially when I get new phones, I'm always comparing it to this S24 FE, and I find myself, for some reason, just picking the photos that come out of the S24 FE here. They look very organic, they look very natural, and if you told me when this phone came out that I would be saying this, especially from an FE device, a fan edition device, I would have said you were, smoking something, and I would love to see your dealer. But here we are. I'm really impressed by most of the photos I've gotten out of this phone right here. I would say low light is pretty decent. It's not the best, but it's also not the worst either. Video stabilization is great. I have no complaints there, no weird jerky motions here. And also the portrait mode is one that I found myself very pleased with compared to some other phones that just did not have great portrait mode, especially when you just open your camera, you take the photo. The portrait mode here on the S24 FE was fantastic. And one thing I do like here with the camera update, especially with that One UI 7, we'll get to One UI 7, believe me, is the fact that there's also the new filters that have come with the S24 FE. So the previous version did not look great, and I did not use the filters a lot. But if we're going to the filters here, we now get the ability to have these nice filters here, such as all of this, and the Galaxy AI feature where you can actually go select a photo that you like, and based on that photo, it will actually generate a filter that you can use. As you can see now, it's now all purple right there. I really love this. But one thing to note here, however, when we're talking about the filters, is you actually don't get the full filter experience, which saddens me to say, especially when I was super excited for One UI 7. Now, to demonstrate this to you, I'll bring the big daddy over here, which is the S25 Ultra that I have with me. And if I open the S25 Ultra right here, right? So this is the S25 Ultra, and I go into the filter system and I tap on the filter. Can you tell me what is different here? I'm just gonna hold this for a while. So tell me what you think is missing here. And final chance. Okay, you got it? All right, so what is missing here is that there is no film grain effect. So as you can see, you top out at saturation here. You don't get an ability to have film grain, which I really love the film grain effect that I get here on the S25 Ultra. And the promise of the S24 FE is that you get almost all the, at least Galaxy AI features that are present on the higher end S series, such as I would expect film grain, but sadly you do not get that film grain here on the S24 FE, which is very sad to say. But putting that sadness aside, I am glad that we actually got this new filter system. It makes a lot of sense to my brain. You can control your contrast here. You can really customize how you want this image to look, whether you want the color temperature to be higher or lower. The only issue or nitpick I would have is that sometimes the colors from the different cameras don't match quite as closely. So for example, the ultra wide might be a bit warmer than the telephoto, for example. It's not a major deal breaker, but since I'm telling you my long-term review after taking thousands of photos on this phone, well, I have to say it anyway. And for just overall content creation or, taking photos of your food and your family members, the S24 FE FE here, you cannot beat this. This has a fantastic photos, and the specs, don't trust the specs. The specs are not everything, because with this phone, it proves that, you know, just take some nice photos and you're just going to be pleased, as I was. Next, let's move on to display, and looking at the AMOLED display here on the Galaxy S24 FE, and I'll say I have no complaints here. It is a very, very bright display here on the S24 FE, and just to demonstrate it now, what I've done is I've actually reduced the brightness a bit. So let me just go in there and let me turn it up. You can see the brightness is really, really bright right here. I'm just going to turn that down here just so that you can see it better on screen. But yes, when it comes to just overall brightness here on the S24 FE, you have nothing to worry about. The screen is really bright and it has that 120 hertz refresh rate. As you can see, it's really, really fast. I really like this, and outdoors it is completely viewable, and I just love how bright and vibrant this display looks here. Looking at HDR content, and I think this is where the display here on the S24 FE really, really shines, as you can see from this trailer of the Avatar, and this is one of my most favorite trailers to play, especially on devices that have really good HDR. As you can see here, I love it. It's so bright, it's so vibrant, and the display quality is fantastic, and the display you're getting here is one of the most premium that you could ever use, and you're going to enjoy watching like content here on this phone. And in the time I've been using it, almost a year now, there's no burning, there's really any eye strain. I'm not sensitive to that, but even my friends that I've not really complained there, and the battery life is not really impacted by keeping that 120 hertz on all the time, so I wouldn't say there is any impact there. And just compared to other displays such as the A55 right here, I would say the display on the S24 FE definitely looks a lot more vibrant. Of course, there's a little display brightness difference between the two here, but in my experience, the display here on the S24 FE definitely looks a whole lot more vibrant than you know, the cheaper A55 and even A56 one. And when it comes to just battery life, I haven't really seen any impact on the display on battery life at all. So let's start with the build quality. And when it comes to daily wear and tear, I would say this phone has held up phenomenally well. It feels as solid as the first day that I held it. Now the curved edges here makes it easier to hold, and while it feels heavy in a good way. I would say in a premium way. Like, this phone feels like, ooh, it's worth even much more than you paid for it. So when it comes to just the build quality here, you don't really, I'd say, think of it much until you hold it next to something like, let's say, the A55 right here, which feels like a paperweight compared to this. Just feels a whole lot premium. Now, one thing I do not like here on the S24 FE, definitely, which is the biggest downside for me, are the thick bezels, which if you look at it just straight on right here, you can see that chin. It's really, really ugly. I do not know why Samsung still did this on a S24 FE phone, but yeah, I think the bezels could have been made just a little bit thinner, because if you then look at the bezels on the A55 right here, they look almost identical. Like, it doesn't feel like, you know, this is a much higher end premium mid-range phone. And just for comparison, I'll bring the A56 here as well, and as you can see, I think the A56 looks a little bit better, maybe just because of the wallpaper I have here. But yeah, the chin also there looks almost identical, so I would say that is one of the downsides here of the S24 FE. But other than that, you know, this still has the previous design from the S24 series, which has all the curves here compared to the square design that we now get on the S25 series, which I prefer this honestly, because as you can see, it makes it easier in my hand as I'm holding it right here, and this just feels a whole lot comfortable when I use it for the long run. So yeah, when it comes to the design and the, I would say, build quality here, the S24 FE does feel premium with a little bit of a downside. Now, talking about performance, and I'll be honest with you, when this phone first came out, I was quite worried that it only had about 8 gigs of RAM, but in my daily use with the phone, phone, it has been no problem at all. Now, something I've noticed is that apps rarely reload, and the phone generally feels quite snappy in everyday use. So for example, if I go into my app search here and it loaded the page that I was on, let me go into my good lock and it's still in memory. So I had a worry that it was going to struggle with multitasking, especially with just 8 gigs of RAM that is here on the S24 FE, but that has not been the issue. Multitasking is fine, even though you will hit the RAM limit depending on what kind of apps you have open. For example, like, Instagram is one that will always refresh because it's an app that refreshes after you've not used it for a long time. But after months, there has been no performance degradation, and I would say, launching apps are relatively quick here. Let me just open X as well. As you can see, it launches almost instantly, though, yes, again, that 8 gig RAM means that it's shuffling things in and out of memory, and it will not keep things in memory as much as, for example, a phone that has even more RAM. But all in all, I would say app performance has been great here. Moving on to gaming, and I would say gaming is decent. Now, the 2 games I have mostly played here on this phone are Genshin Impact and Wuthering Waves. And the app load up time to launch the game here isn't too bad, I would say. The places that it does get hot, I would say, is around the top here of the phone, as well as the back of the device, and even around the camera here. Major hotspots that, I might even recommend you use like a fan here, like those gaming fans you can plop on the back here, or I don't know, maybe reducing the quality. So if I go into the settings here and I go to my graphics, so I'm currently on medium settings here, maybe turning it down to low. I found that the medium is the one where I could get the best settings here on the S24 FE. If I crank it all the way to high, or even like highest here, it tended to just want to boil my hand. And as you can see, Genshin is warning that this is overclocked and probably doesn't recommend that. So let me know if you're a gamer on the S24 FE. What games do you play here on this device? Do you game frequently? What are some of your experiences with gaming as well? Let me know. Now, there are 3 constants in life: death, taxes, and Galaxy AI. Now, here on the Galaxy S24 FE, one of the major selling points is that it is the only non-Galaxy S mainline series to actually have all of the Galaxy AI features inbuilt. And as for me, I mostly use Circle to Search, which you can bring up by pressing and holding on the home button right there, or on the gesture bar. And where I actually use it the most is in translating different posts. So if I go to my threads, for example, this is a post that is in Malay that I'm still learning. I press and hold on the bar right there, and it brings up Circle to Search. And I don't even use it to like search for products or anything like it is intended for. I use it to translate. So when I tap on the translate there, you can actually see it translate on a screen right there, which I think is super cool, especially for even like graphics, right? It works for photos as well. It doesn't work for videos, but I'm sure maybe one day, we're going to get even more advanced models that can do all of those things. But for me, the one feature I use almost every single day for every single interaction is Circle to Search. You can see this, another post by a friend in Malay right there. I hit there, translate it, RIP to those who subscribe to One Fit, which recently closed down here in Malaysia due to like not having any money anymore. But yeah, I can be able to find that out just by using Circle to Search here. So for me, Circle to Search is amazing, and I use this almost every single day on the Galaxy S24 FE. The closest I would say I use next to Circle to Search is Photo Assist, which you can get by just opening up your photo gallery like I have right here, and you will have the AI button there where if you press it, it will then give you different suggestions, whether it's a generative edit here where you can like, select something, for example, on the display, and it will then, make that selection and you can do things with it. Or it's, let me just keep editing. Let me remove this. I do not want to generate. I'm just going to leave. Yeah, this is always confusing every time I use it. Or it's a sketch to image where you can sketch something on the image. And how I use this the most is in removing reflection. So if I take a photo, for example, through a mirror or a glass or a window or whatever, it's easy for me to just, erase the reflections. And in case you wanted to find out how to do that, if you press on this, and I think if you go here, yes, you have all of the Galaxy AI features here as well, such as object eraser and all of that. If you have like a reflection, it will also show up here. It's very context aware, which I like. That's, I think, the second most used feature that I use, which I think is pretty cool that we have here on the S24 FE. Another cool one that is nice here, I've not synced some of my audio transcriptions because I don't primarily use that here on this S24 FE, but I use it on some of my other Galaxy devices, is just transcription. So for example, if I hit that right here and I click allow for that, I'm just going to click save here in the recorder. And now one thing I like here in the recorder with Galaxy AI here is you have this transcribe, which you can use to transcribe to text. So if you now tap on transcribe there, it will then, I believe, use the on-device model. I don't think it sends anything to the cloud. It will then use that to transcribe the text as you're seeing right there, and boom, you have the full text right here, which is pretty fast, as you can see. I mean, granted, it's about 15 seconds, but yeah, we now have the full text right here. So this is another one of the Galaxy AI features that I actually use. This comes in handy a lot, and I'm demoing this in case you were not aware and you have the S24 FE. This is one of the best features for you to check out. Now, of course, there are other Galaxy AI features here, such as sketch to image, sketch to something. Did I just want to say sketch to search? No, sketch to image here, which, let's say you have this circle here, we tap here and we tap on sketch to image. I can select this drawing that I want to select. I think, yes, this. I can select the drawing. I don't know why it was not allowing me to select just now. I can select what kind of illustration style I want, and I'm just going to keep talking while it does its magic in the background. But as you can see, it's generating, and I think one of the things that is rather strange here is that this does not support any pen input, and boom, as you can see, it has generated this with sketch to image. Now, as I was saying, it doesn't support any stylus pen whatsoever. If you think you can write on the screen or draw or sketch something on this screen. So it's nice that it's here, but unlike a S25 Ultra series or S24 Ultra that has a pen, I don't really see myself, scribbling with my hands and then converting it to image. So I did not really use this as much. And if we're going to the settings here under Galaxy AI, you can see that there are quite a few Galaxy AI features. Note assist, like I just showed you just now. Browsing assist, I don't use the Samsung browser, so this did not really help me much. Photo assist, I do use it. Audio eraser, which I think you can use in the camera. So let's say you open the camera, for example, and you record a video. You can, let's say I'm just talking, I'm recording video, blah, 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 blah. We stop that recording now, right? And then we go into the gallery, and if you then tap on, I think, the Galaxy AI there, yes, you get the audio eraser function, which you can use to eliminate distracting sounds from your video. So if we tap OK here, right, it will analyze the sound here. And one thing that is actually cool is you can either make the voices louder or lower, or you can even completely eliminate the noise. And one thing that is nice here, it's context dependent, right? It's context dependent, which means that if you're in a place that is very noisy, there's wind, it will show up as wind noise here. And I think you can remove up to 6 sounds or something like that, which is super duper cool. I'm just gonna discard this, but yes, this is a feature that is present here as well. And photo ambient wallpaper, if you wanna set like a AI generated wallpaper, you're in the mood for all of that. And to do that, I think it's very easy. You tap and hold on the home screen, you go to wallpaper and style right here, and I think you can, where do you do that? You can generate your wallpaper, change wallpapers, I think. Yes, and here you can then create with AI, and you can then select generative, and you can then generate your wallpaper. So that's one thing I've used in the past before, but I think after using it once or twice, like these are some of the wallpapers I've created in the past, right? So, but after using it once or twice, I've not really used it as much anymore. So anyway, when it comes to Galaxy AI here, most of it, I really did not use it as much as I thought I would, especially on the S24 FE here. Is it a gimmick? I would not say it is, but it's definitely not one that is as important as I would love to think, especially here, because on the S25 Ultra, for example, I do use most Galaxy AI features there because it has that pen. I can use it to draw, I can use it to sketch, but here, not so much. And if you're worried about privacy here under the settings, you can actually turn on this setting here to process data only on device, where it will use only the on-device model for any of your requests. Now, be warned that if you turn this on, you will not have access to some of the other or even most of the Galaxy AI features. I will have that turned off because I do use the Galaxy AI features. But yes, when it comes to Galaxy AI here, the biggest one that I definitely use is Circle to Search right there, and some of the other supporting costs that you've seen. So let me know if you use Galaxy AI. What are some of the Galaxy AI features that you use on a regular basis? Do you think it's a gimmick? Do you think it's nice? It's not nice? Please let me know all of that and more in the comments down there below. Now, when it comes to the battery here, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm very honest here. I was quite worried because it only has a 4700 milliampere battery paired with an Exynos processor. That did not look like a winning combo to me. But in real life, I didn't notice a difference at all. I got, I think, about 6 to 7 hours of screen on time here on the S24 FE when it came to the battery life here. And these were on days that I would say it was very screen heavy, and I capped my battery charge to 80%. And I have some other battery charging and battery long life tips in my special setup guide. I'll leave the link down in the comments down there below. But yeah, as you can see, I've had this phone a bit on ice, while waiting to film this. And yeah, a full charge here is saying will last me about 4 days with my current use right now. And of course, I have my battery protection to maximum. And on days where I'm not really using this phone so much like this, I'm getting 8 to 9 hours of screen on time here on the S24 FE, which is just fantastic. The battery life here is really great. Now, there's wireless charging here present on the S24 FE. I could demo it to you, but I really do not like wireless charging. I think it just degrades your battery. You still have a cable anyway. Just plug it in, man. Like, what are you doing here? I do not like wireless charging, but if you do, if you're one of those 10 people in the room who do, it is present here. It's not very fast. Now, this power bank can charge anything. It can probably charge your entire village as well. And if I plug it into the S24 FE right here, it's going to plug this here. It actually has super fast charging now, right? So you think, yeah, super fast charging, that should charge really, really fast. But no, it still takes quite a while to actually charge here on this device. And I think one of the things that I really hate here about this phone is just how slow the wired charging is. It's supposed to be 25 watts. Why do I say it's not fast enough? That's because I have devices that are way faster. So let's take, for example, this big absolute beauty of a phone here, which is the Xiaomi 15 Ultra, right? With the camera that is as big as the national GDP of Nigeria, the entire country. Now, if I plug this power cable here into this phone, we get 90 watts fast charging. And one of the things I've done here to, protect my battery health here on the S24 FE is to, have it at a maximum charging capacity where it will stop charging at 80%. Though on days where I demand more battery life, I would usually increase this to, I think, about 90% or even sometimes 95%. But again, if you want to see some of the tips that I have, I've already made a setup guide for the S24 FE. That will be linked in the description down there below. And yeah, one thing I did like about this phone, especially because of the Exynos processor in it, is that it does not get hot when I'm using it in just regular use. So, I'm not talking about when I'm doing heavy games and all of that. No, when I'm just on threads, which I use a lot, or on Twitter, this phone rarely ever gets hot to the touch, right? It's usually very cool. And I think the only reason why it's a little bit hot now is because of that dreaded wireless charging. But other than that, I would say the battery life and battery health here has been good. It's been efficient, and I have no complaints except for the charging speed. Please Samsung, please just make it charge faster. Apart from that, battery life here has been fantastic on the S24 FE. Software here on the Galaxy S24 FE has been pretty stable, especially when the long-awaited, and when I say waited, I really mean we waited a long time, update to One UI 7 came to the Galaxy S24 FE. But it's here, and I love the cleaner look and all of the new features that it brings, such as the new notification drawer right here. And if you're wondering how my home screen looks, how it looks with all of my icons all over the place like that, the arrow, and these are all clickable, right? It's because of Good Luck. As you can see here, Good Luck has so many themes and so many ways for you to, I would say customize this device. For example, if I press my volume button, can you see that? My volume button looks really, really cool right there. It's like a knob that reflects light all around it, and it's super duper nice. You can see I've customized even my app switcher to be tiny, which maybe you must have picked that up earlier in the video, and sound assistant, which is why I have the ability to have this, and it has such a nice visual and also vibration. Like the vibration motor on this phone is so underrated. It feels so good. And of course, OMAP, which is how I have the ability to just dump all of my widgets and everything behind and scatter everything all around. And yeah, going back into the One UI 7 that we've gotten here, another thing that I like is just the vertical the vertical app drawer now. So if by default you don't get this vertical app drawer, you actually have to enable it, and doing that is actually really simple. You just tap on the three dot icon here, you tap on sort, and if you have your phone like how you bought it, it will be in custom order, and custom order is one where you have this left and right. I do not like the left and right because I like the ability to like just have the page all in one scroll, all the apps in one scroll. So much easier with the vertical one. So I'm just going to tap on that. I'm going to tap on sort, and I'm going to tap on alphabetical order. And with alphabetical order, it's much more easier for me to just still dump it down there, but for some reason in my brain it just feels much better to just do that. Now, when it comes to the value analysis of the S24 FE right now, and it is actually closer in price to the A56, especially if you stack up all of the discounts or whatever deals you can get in your local market wherever you're watching from. But is the premium build here, Galaxy AI and just the overall package, worth it over something like say the A56 or even the A55? Now, wrapping up with my final thoughts about the Galaxy S24 FE after using it for the long term, and the biggest surprise here for me is definitely the camera. I think for the price, it is just great, and I cannot rave enough about how I love the photos that came out of this phone. It punches well above its weight, and I think it's something you have to see to believe. The biggest letdown by far is the charging speed, especially when I'm in a hurry. I just need this phone to charge up really quickly. I mean, the battery is not the biggest in the world, but Samsung has just refused to put any faster charging, especially in less premium devices, or even if it's a premium budget device. So it takes a while to charge, which I'm not happy with. After using it all this while, is this phone something that I will consider? And the answer is absolutely yes. The premium build quality, the camera quality, just how the phone feels in the hand, how the 8GB RAM for some reason manages to work, all of those things bundled in that package, I think is just still going to get a big recommend from me. In fact, the A55 as well, which is last year's model, which not a lot changed from the A56 other than the camera grille and a little things here and there. So these two might be one that you should consider. Sorry, I don't know why my brain just sort of glitched there. So if you're on a budget, or if the cameras don't really mean that much to you, or even Galaxy AI, these two might be the one to consider over the S24 FE. Are you using the Samsung Galaxy S24 FE? Are you looking in the market for an upgrade? Do you have any of the other phones such as the A56 and you're looking to side grade? Please let me know all of those things and more in the comment section down there below. Also, I will be leaving a playlist to all the videos I've made about the S24 FE because I've made quite a lot now, from the setup tips and the guides. If you want to customize your interface, you want to customize your phone, all the tips and tricks you should know, all the camera comparisons such such as when I compared it to this Pixel 9a right here, and more. All of those will be in the description and in a comment as well. Thanks again for making it all the way to the end of the video. I really appreciate you being here. So please text me when you get home so I know you got home safe, and watch out for tapir. They're quite big, way bigger than you think they will be in person. And until the next time, I've been your captain of awesome. This is Geekception, and don't forget to stay awesome. Bye. And thank you for making it all the way to the end of the video. Now, this video has taken me so long to make. I'm gonna tell you that for sure. And it's videos like this, I think my original first cut was 40 something minutes, so you can imagine how much I've had to cut down for this video. But I've always enjoyed making videos like this because it's what I enjoy watching, right? And I think I'm always coming back to the same point on YouTube where I never want to make something that I would not even be able to like watch, right? I think that would be like, so what's the point? What's the point of doing all of this, right? Which is why I really hope, as someone who has made it all the way to the credits, that you enjoyed watching this. I hope it answered some questions. I hope it shared some of the knowledge and some of my experiences with this device. And other than that, I just hope you get to experience what it feels like to get to the end of a video that almost drove me insane because it took so much to like actually put all of my thoughts into this video. But enough about me. How are you? How are you doing? What are you up to? What are you excited about? What part of the world are you watching from? Let me know all of that and more in the comments. And if you can see, I have new AirPod Max, my previous AirPods Max, which are inside this here. It's not charging anymore. I'm still trying to charge it. So it died. So RIP to this AirPods Max. So put hashtag AirPods Max so I know you made it all the way to the end of the video. But I like the new color I've gotten here because I've always wanted like a bright color. As you can see, I'm wearing like something very bright. I have like bright all over me, so I think bright colors look great on me. So I'm glad to finally have headphones that actually match that as well. But yeah, I shall go now, and I shall go take a short break before I then get back into another like massive video I'm also making. So lots of massive stuff coming. I'm so excited. Let's get it. Let's go, baby.